Carson, DCarsonCPA, MFC on the lines again. Today we're covering the lines. We're going to talk about financials, accounting, taxes, compliance and analysis, and technology. That pretty much covers all the points where we can help. Leaves out a few points so we can help on macro financials, on legal support lines, but enough said to generally connect two key points, financials and technology. We're going to take this from a simple standpoint to look at entities and individuals. The intention is to be a quick coverage, and we're not going to give you everything here, but we'll generally cover a few lines to think about things, and these are points where we can help, and ideally they open the points for you to open more conversations with us where we assist on the lines. In the economy today, you have a man or a woman. In this event, they could be a W-2'd individual, an employee of a company, or they could in fact be founders or company owners with their own entities and dealing with data. Data arises from life's events. In life's events, you have the everyday condition of a buy or sell, something you might want to buy, something you want to sell, decisions you make with financials. You have trades. You may sell one thing to gain another thing, many different points that are functions of supply and demand in the economy. At some point you supply labor. In return for your labor you receive money. With that money you buy groceries, you buy your house. Enough said on that point. Generally speaking, that means that supply and demand is a pretty powerful factor in decision making in the aggregate, and that's why we have integrated lines of economic research to help on the lines where we map to your specific business or your specific family lines on needs. There are major purchases which come through financials, some of which deal with saving and retirement decisions. You are going to save or spend. So that save or spend decision is about how you plan for the future. We hope you're a net saver. We wish you great strength in saving and retirement, and we'd like to help out if we may on the lines to put together budgets and plans and financials, to work with books in the clouds and help you out in that respect on your individual financials, or the same for an entity. An entity is planning too, to plan about the welfare of the employees, meaning that you have saving, retirement, health, benefits, everything you have as an individual you also have as a company. So those are important lines of decision making, and hopefully benefits which you offer as a company to your employees, and perhaps we can help you out on that side to consider the cost of it, to connect you with the appropriate vendors, and to find some efficient ways to help you supply those benefits to your employees if that's the case of where you are. Okay, now every decision line, individual, also has an intersection, as we say, with health, with real estate, with retirement, and with energy. As an example, we all have energy in the terms of utilities, gas, electricity. We all have retirement considerations, hopefully in a position to put money away and save for the future. It's been a rough economy, so that may be good or bad, but whatever it is, it's always something you can work on, and we can always help you to improve that plan. On the real estate lines, that's about what you lease or what you own, so it may take on a different dimension, and we have full skills in real estate research. And the health lines is about your greatest and most priceless asset, your health. Your good health, and bienestar, as they say in Spanish, is a good thing. So we want to support you on that. So we have lines on health research, and we have a couple of them out there that you should look for, and they're about your health. Good health and prevention is an intangible asset, because if you stay in good health, if you eat right, do the right things, you're going to live longer, be healthier, and have less doctor bills. So we wish you much success, and we stand to support you on those lines, and that's why we work with lines on health research integrated to everything we do. Now over here, we look at the entity lines. I wanted to have a chance here to discuss a few things. This is the core world of a CPA or accounting. It's not comprehensive, because what you need to understand now is that CPAs, hopefully by looking at DCarsonCPA, you understand those core skills can go in many different directions, and we specifically do that with research because we're growing to a quantitative direction. But at this point in time, what we're working with is strong skills in financials, accounting, taxes, compliance, and analysis. All of those are data-driven functions. We'll explain how they work, and they're all working through technology. So suddenly you see this key piece where you've got data covers all these events we discussed in life, and then it builds up financials. Typically the data will come into your accounting line, transactional data is accounted for, then it splits into financials, and the summary of what happens in accounting, correctly handled by your accountant or by us, rolls up to financials, from which you get taxation corresponding to financials in entities. And on the level of taxes, which is really also a function of compliance, you have compliance reporting. And certain entities and certain industries, like financial industries, have oversight from organizations you've heard of, like the SEC. So you're probably pretty much aware of that, but in any event, compliance is one of those legs of an accounting function. It's a point where attorneys and accountants work close together, and then again that happens at taxes. And then the accounting lines, it's about professional standards and what is accounting? How do you do that? How do you take a debit and credit, which is just a single, you spend $5, but we're going to create a double entry out of that, give it a debit and credit, and we're going to feed that through the financials. And the benefit of that double entry in our hands is the understanding of accounting and how to feed that into a balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, your statement of net worth or retained earnings, or depending on the corporate formation, you might have partners capital. In any event, all of those lines work with data. Data is significantly acquired from life's events, and data, in order to be valuably used in here, has some pathway where it's captured into technology. A lot of the work of accounting is about capturing data into technology in the right way so it can be reused, formatted into these pieces, and then it'll give you some value-added data. Value-added financials for analysis. So the data is the foundation. The data comes in through technology. When it comes through technology, it will build up the accounting, the financials, the taxes, the compliance, and permit that your CPA can analyze your situation for advisory. And that's where you get the value-added advice, once you can see through to the clarity of financials. And of course, in the organizational structure, getting things to the right place, meeting up with the many of rules, the many of tax tax deductions, credits, and things of that nature that'll help you out from a tax position because there are incentives built in the tax code. Next in the line, if we talk about technology and we talk about data, I have a very simple, high-level conversation here that there's a couple things happening fundamentally with technology. Technology pushes and pulls data, and in the interim, it warehouses data. So you've got data coming from transactions, grouped into organizational structures as we go, but also just raw data and email and other things, comes into technology. Technology has a way to push and pull data, the intake of data and the output of data, the warehousing, which are the data tables where data is mapped to, your emails, for instance, those lists you see in Inbox and in Outlook are all input points on your data, and behind that's a database, and everything in technology is some manner or form of a table to warehouse data, and so it becomes pretty important as you get more advanced lines to understand data tables and structures, how they work, programming and how it pushes and pulls data, and you can run analytics. And then we've got a couple lines of data. We're going to start the conversation here. You've got OCR, text, and character-driven data. OCR is a term really from e-discovery when attorneys look at your business and see what your emails were, what your financials are, and it's a very comprehensive way to look through all data. But it's important to remember it's not just about the financials on this track. There's a wealth of business knowledge that's currently not very well tapped, and I think e-discovery lines will move from not only being used in legal, but to also finding ways perhaps to leverage the wealth of knowledge in email in the future, which you already do, to keyword search, but to do even greater things that are currently done with those type of databases as AI evolves. Enough fun for now. That's what we're looking to forward, and we'd like to help in those lines, and it's running through our thoughts about the things that are currently achievable. And then over here, basically within the technology, you've got some programming going on. You've got a language like C++, Visual Basic, PHP. You've got some other things like HTML5 and web design. All these languages providing some manner of help to work with data in different capacities. Not always just on financials. That could also be web-driven stuff that we're talking about. But again, what's happening there is you have programs to push and pull data, text and OCR, including the financials, some database somewhere, and that's an important line where accounting, data, and financials connect. I hope you find this interesting. This is DCarsonCPA on the lines. We're talking a little bit here about the bridge between our financial skills and technology. We're going to refine it a little bit, get better at. There's certainly many lines of the brand of DCarsonCPA. They talk about the close connection between financials, technology, legal, economics, and communications, and what that value is to performance for an individual or for an entity, for the internal and external lines of understanding your financials, how you connect the economy, and working in efficient ways with data and financial information, including the full chain of accounting and analysis. That's basically a line where financials and technology skills meet, and we can help on both points. This is DCarsonCPA, MFC on the lines, and the aggregate our lines speak to the way that these parts, the financials and technology with the data, speak to the broad lines, the economy and the rules, laws, and governance, the points where industry, nonprofits, NGOs, and individual families meet in the economy, the societal lines as we build out the research lines for the economist and quant skills, What you've got in the base foundation is years of strong skills in financials, accounting, and taxes, and this is where the bread and butter is, to help you out in financials, accounting, and taxes as we build from the business of today to the business of tomorrow. I'm Dean Carson. Drop by. I hope we can help you on services, and I appreciate your following with us on the DCarsonCPA MLC lines. Thank you.